Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're going to take a look at Voice of Baceprot. We're looking at the song God Allow Me Please to Play Music, which was a big one for them. The video dropped on October 6, 2021, and it ended up on their album Retas, which came out in 2023. So they've since come out with an EP this year, by the way. In May, they put out a new one called Transisi. But this is a big one. It had 6 million views, and it's one of the ones that I think most people, if they've heard of the band, they know this song. So, Adrian, any thoughts ahead before we dive into this?
About the band itself, this trio is known for challenging societal norms.
In fact, this particular song may be a statement in and of itself. So let's check this out, and we will discuss it afterwards.
Alrighty.
Have become toxic. Why today many people wear religion to kill the music? I feel like I am falling, rushed down, swallowed by the crowd. I'm not a criminal, I'm not the enemy. I just wanna sing a song to show my soul. I'm not the corrupter, I'm not the enemy. I just wanna sing a song to show my God allow me please to play music. 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 Why today many perceptions have become toxic? Why today idealizations are using our mind? I feel like I'm falling down in the deep hole of hatred. I'm not the criminal, I'm not the enemy. I just wanna sing a song to show my soul. I'm not the corruptor, I'm not the enemy. I just wanna sing a song to show my God allow me please to play music. God allow me please to play music. God allow me please to play music. God allow me please to play music.
Pretty intense, a lot of different moods, and a very clear statement.
I just had to comment on the bass solo.
Very funky. She's got a lot of funk in her background, I think, and she really enjoys the funk.
Yeah, and the music just has some nice rhythmic changes and polyrhythms. And just some cool hooks on all the instruments.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They went into a lot of different moods and styles. The verses were actually pretty mellow compared to the rest of the song, but the words were really the thing that were the most important, it seemed like, throughout. And in the video, they had all this symbolism about, People not necessarily liking them to express themselves, kind of trying to keep them from doing what they want to do.
Yeah, it suggests a society that doesn't allow or tolerate creative expression.
Yeah, possibly creative expression from women. It might be the thing.
Yeah.
They have a hard time, or they had a hard time. It seems like they're getting the respect they deserve. They have another release out now that's good. Good luck to them, moving forward. Yeah, I liked it. Almost sounded like the Police or like a reggae beat, by the time they got to the second verse. It was almost ska-like a little bit. I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, but then other parts of the song were pretty heavy. But it was only heavy for brief periods of time. It was really in service to the message in the song more than anything. Like they weren't just going straight out, flat out rock and roll all the way, hard heavy metal or anything like that, even though they're capable of that. It just had a lot of different moods going on.
Just extremely talented, every one of them.
For sure, yeah. They've all got chops, and they know how to use them. Really good. They're great players. It's always fun listening to them play.
And they're kind of loud and in your face, which is a wonderful quality and sometimes necessary.
Yeah, I agree. So good job on that one, I would say. And I don't think we need to go over the lyrics because they were pretty clear there. I'm not the criminal. I'm not the enemy. I just want to play music. I just want to, bare some of my soul to you here. What's the big deal? Amazing that they felt they needed to write a song like this. You kind of consider what other cultures are like. There are many different ways to live your life in this world. And we only experience some of those here in the United States. You and I have seen a lot of different bands from around the world now, and we see how there are different cultural norms. But possibly this band comes from the most restrained in terms of what societal norms are, and yet it's still not as conservative as a lot of places on Earth. What bands are out there that we are never going to hear that maybe never could be bands or not public bands? Maybe they're still making music and they're just not releasing it, and maybe it'll come out sometime in the future. Maybe we'll get to listen to something like that. But I'm glad that we got to hear this today. And folks, why don't you give us your opinion on this song and on this band? If you've seen any of our other reactions or if you're familiar with them anyway, let us know what your general thoughts are. And, we welcome them. We'd like to read about them. And if you own any of their music, tell us about that. If you've actually seen them perform, tell us about that. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed the presentation, please subscribe. All right. Thanks so much for joining us on this, and we will catch you on the next one. All right. Take care, folks.
See you all later.